The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I'm a big fish in a small pond. Got my days free and the nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Who I am is fine with me.
Coming in! You know what that means. Hi everybody, it's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? So welcome to our show. Tonight is February 5th, 2019. Who has joined us? Richard Koek has joined us. Chris DePiero has joined us. And I know tonight's going to be one of those nights where we get a little bit of a delay. We had some delays on Facebook. Ed Kutu has joined us of Blade Salon, and they have moved to Rocky Hill, Connecticut. So welcome back, Eddie from Blade Salon. Jackie Fornatel has joined us, and Annette Zito. What's up, Annette? From Kitchenette. Scott Connick has joined us. Jason Peck, hi, sweetheart. Aaron Roberts, hi, Aaron Roberts. Bill Goffey has joined us, that big troublemaker. And so we are, James Fama, that's my neighbor. That's my next door neighbor. He's fantastic. Okay, hey there from 150th Street, Broadway. Billy, don't give out your address. People will be stalking you. And my cousin Rena Crugnali-Bergi from Massachusetts has joined us. Rena, I saw your pictures from the parade today. That was so exciting. So I love everybody's Facebook post, by the way. Thank God we all have each other on Facebook, right? We can see what everyone's doing. All right, Jeffrey Campbell has joined us. Okay, we got our regulars have joined us, and we appreciate you very much. So we are going to start our show. So both of these people, wonderful friends of mine, have been here before separately, and you may or may not have caught that episode. So I wanted to bring them back because they're both artists in different ways, and they're both have gotten to different places in their career now where there's new stuff happening. So I want to tell the world about these wonderful artists that you know about. And hopefully, if you're, as Fran and I were talking earlier, if you're evolving, if you're working, you're going to evolve if you're doing the right thing, and your art is going to grow and change, and you're going to be in different places. So I want to always keep people abreast of what's happening with my friends. And so Julie Chrysler has joined us. Hi, Julie. Vanna Sicario has joined us.
Hey, Vanna. Hey, Julie.
You know Vanna?
No, I don't.
Oh, all right.
But nice meeting you.
Yeah, Julie and I have known each other. She's a music person.
And James.
And a teacher, James Lazar. James Lazar. Jimmy owns Brandy's Piano Bar, which is the most amazing place, and that's on East 84th between 2nd Avenue and 3rd Avenue. And they are open 7 nights a week. So you want to swing by there. As a matter of fact, after you watch our show, please go to Brandy's. Isabella Raskowski's there. I think Michael Isaacs is there tonight, and LaDonna Burns. And if they're not there, 2 other wonderful people are there. So I'm a huge fan of Brandy's. I have subbed there many a time, and I'll be back there soon. Hugh Cook has joined us too. All right, so wow, we have a lot of great people coming in. We appreciate you. So I will tell you that Fran O'Neill is my favorite living painter, and I am beside myself. I always say this. I was thinking about this today. I said this to one of my kids yesterday that I work
Frank
with.
Frank O'Neill. He's my buddy.
That's Fran. Oh, really?
Frank O'Neill. Yeah.
I love that. I said, how many people in their lifetime get to actually know their favorite living painter? Like, can you imagine someone while Hopper was alive being friends with Hopper? I mean, or any of those greats. So I am ecstatic that I am friends with Fran O'Neill, I was friends with Fran O'Neill before I was a fan of her paintings. So it worked out beautifully that way. She still likes me. But anyway, so we have Fran O'Neill, and she is a painter, and she has a show coming up soon. So we're going to talk to Fran about that. And this is my friend Richard Koek. It looks like Koek, and I used to say it wrong. But it's like Coke, right? Like the Coca-Cola.
No, it's actually Koek.
Oh, Cook.
That's how you spell it, like cooking, yeah.
Oh, cooking.
That's the Dutch way to say it, Koek.
Okay, now
It's a
you
Dutch.
told me that it means cookie.
Yeah, it means in Dutch, koek is like a cookie.
I love
cake.
that.
Yeah.
Did anybody ever call you Cookie?
Yeah. Well,
Like your friends, like, hey, Cookie.
as a kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Cookie Monster.
Well, I love it. It's
Yeah.
adorable. It's wonderful. All right, so let's start with Fran. Fran, I want to. Some of you that have been to my apartment have seen my Fran O'Neill's. I'm so proud of my Fran O'Neill's. This is one of my Fran O'Neill paintings that I bought from Fran maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
You know, you bought it on that Small Business Day.
Yes.
Right?
Small Business Day. I bought a set there, and here's another one. And this is another one. I bought those two together. That's right. We came to your studio. That was so exciting.
Yeah.
A bunch
These are
of us.
reproductions or?
No,
No,
they're
the
the
originals.
originals.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? So anyway, and you were in a very different, still a wonderful place then, but you're in a very different place now.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to start with you and tell us where do you want to talk about your show first, or do you want to talk about so much going on?
Yeah, I mean, the most exciting thing that I've got coming up is the solo show that's going to be at Sears Peyton Gallery here in New York that opens on February 28th. And everybody can come along that night, 6 to 8 p.m., and that's at 210.
I'm going to hold this
You're
up
gonna
now. I'm
hold
going to
on?
block both of
Excellent.
your faces. I don't
210,
need to, but I want to
11th
hold.
Avenue, Suite 802. So opening February 28th, 6 to 8 p.m. It's from February 28th, long run to April 13th, which I am super, super grateful and excited by. So that's my big news that's coming up. And work is already done. It's already at the framers. It's sort of a strange thing to have all the work selected, and that's it, really.
Okay, so who selects? Well, first of all, how many paintings?
They have, in the show, there'll be probably about 7 to 10 paintings. They have another back room where there's going to be approximately another 10 to 12 paintings.
Of yours?
Of mine.
All yours?
All mine.
Wow.
And the biggest one is going to be 70 inches by 100 inches, and that'll be in the back room. So that's big size.
That's tremendous.
And I've got to say, the gallery owner, Gaines Peyton, is fabulous to work with.
How did they find you, or did you find them?
A little bit of both. A little bit
Okay.
of both. It was through a connection with a friend who knew us both, and she introduced us both, and we got along really well. And so she's been in my studio a few times, selected work, and we chose the work to go on the show. And when we decided to get it framed, we pulled it all there a couple of weeks ago, played with it in the room to try and work out how they speak to each other, because painting do.
Now, when you say speak to each other, and I love this because I know I've named this show "Do You See What I See?" Because Fran will, or Richard as well. My friends that are visual artists will post their work to Facebook, and we, as followers, will start to like it, of course, and we'll start to comment. And I noticed that people comment, what they see, so. And we see different things as viewers of art, and it's one of the things I love so much about photography or paintings or sculptures is that it is the eye of the beholder, but there's always an intention with the artist. So when for instance, Fran, let me have these paintings back for a minute. My Fran O'Neill's. Okay, so this one was, it was up with so many others of these. These are 12 by 12s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was maybe like 20 of them that Fran just put all up against the wall, and we could move them. She let us, a few of us went in and looked that were friends, and we could move them around.
Because
And
that's half the fun of moving them around, letting them speak. And
but you know what?
play.
I didn't know that. You said move that. I didn't want to touch them. I was looking at them as individual pieces. And then you said, no, you're welcome to, or even flip them around,
Yeah.
which I would feel that would be disrespectful to an artist, because I would think that an
and
artist
to some artists it is disrespectful.
disrespectful. So I wouldn't touch an artist's piece. But you said, no, you please feel free to. And then they would have different, and you're right, and then they started to have, as you said, relationships to each other and connections. And people started to move things around. It became very exciting. So you are one of those artists that's okay with that, I guess, right?
Yeah, I am. I mean, there's certain pieces that I really feel like there's only one way that it can be up.
Right.
And I think they're very evident. Yet sometimes when I've been, like, I get so used to looking at one work a particular way, and then even when I, just flip it around or it's upside down for whatever reason in the studio, it can be this great surprise, which is just, amazing how it, like, opens up.
I want to stop you just for a second because one of our, Barbara Berry has joined us, and Barbara Berry is also an amazing artist. She's out in Pennsylvania. And Barbara, your work is beautiful. So I'm so glad that you have actually come on for this show because both of you as artists would appreciate each other's work very much, and you should probably, after the show, friend each other because really, and Richard as well. Richard Koek, is a photographer, and we're going to slide over to that in a minute.
I saw another cook joining. It was
you
like
did?
Yeah, a Dutch cook, yeah.
Really?
But I don't know the
him?
person, no.
Wow. So we're talking about, so with Fran and the relationship of moving the pieces and the relationship they have to each other. But, okay, so what are the pieces, Fran, that you would, the bigger pieces you definitely would not move them around? Or?
Oh, no, totally. Like, everything, like, it's like relationships you have with people, right?
Yeah.
They become very important and they change. Like, you can walk in one day and see something very different in a painting that maybe you never ever saw it before. That's why I love living with a work, because it opens up.
And what
the light plays, the mood I'm in and how I look at it when I'm in that mood, like, can change my reading of it. So I think, that's, like, fascinating and fantastic. I love it.
Okay, Jennifer Day has joined us, Jill Anderson has joined us, Gabrielle Cardenas has joined us, Phyllis Pastori. Hi, Phyllis. Phyllis was on last week. Okay, so we're talking to Fran O'Neill, who is a painter. I would put you under abstract painter.
Yes.
You don't? Okay,
yes.
Great. But I don't want to, if I say anything, both of you, that is incorrect, please correct me. Don't worry about that. Marcus Simeone, he's coming on in a few weeks. Or is it next week, Marcus, that I'll see you? Or is it, no, 2 weeks. Marcus is coming on. Edie Gershman. Hi, Edie Gershman's my Rodan and Fields business partner. I love her. She's in Chicago. And Leo Rodriguez. Well, I told him about you, Leo. He's what we called our accidental intern. Leo is a lovely human being. He's a songwriter, and he wrote a show, and he also always posts things on our show. So we appreciate all of you coming on. Thank you. So now let's slide over, because we're going to go back and forth. Let's slide over to Richard. The last time you were here, your book had just come out.
Yeah.
Your beautiful New York book, which I happen to have. And would you mind showing it?
Yes.
Okay, so
there's some napkins in it. But
yes, there are some napkins because we highlighted pages, right? So this,
shiny.
let me hold this up, and you tell us about this book. It's pretty big too.
Yeah, this is
a coffee table book for sure.
It's a big book. It has only photographs of New York that I photographed. Most of the photographs are shot in 2017, and a few are taken, like 70% 2017, and the rest is from my archive. These are just pictures that I take while walking through New York City.
Right,
Yeah.
and what I love personally I love this. So what I love about, I just can flip to any page and I love it. So what I love about Richard's book is it's from the point of view of inside New York. It's not like a touristy book. This is not something that you would, if you were a tourist, you would come and say, oh, these are beautiful pictures of the Empire State Building, beautiful pictures of, the Statue of Liberty. No, these are, if you walk through New York on a day-to-day basis, these are things that you are going to see as a New Yorker.
Yeah.
And so I am particularly, it's close to my heart because I grew up in Boston, but I've lived here almost 30 years. And my whole life I wanted to live here. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about that as an experience for you two as well. This was my dream, and it's still, I am living my dream. I live in New York, I work in New York, and my art happens in New York. And I can take my art anywhere I want, but this is where the base of all my work is. And so you've captured this life for me, Richard, that is so dear to my heart in such a gritty and incredible way. So I am personally grateful and indebted to you, really. Thanks. The cover is spectacular.
Yeah, and this is half of the picture, actually.
Oh, half?
Yeah, that.
Oh, go ahead. This is your book. You do whatever you like with it there.
So basically, these are pictures that...
if you find ones you want to show, please do.
This is the cover, actually. It's in the book. So most people...
my God.
But take it up. That's better.
Wow,
It's-
look at that.
That's actually shot standing in between two subway cars on the Manhattan Bridge,
wow.
shooting towards Manhattan. So
I never
that's
guessed that.
And I would think that that was on a boat. Would you know?
yeah. Most people
Well, I was
think
thinking
that.
it was someone's fancy
Apartment.
yeah.
But okay, so I'm gonna. What you just said. What I love, one of the thousands of things I love about living in New York, is Fran just said, it's like as if you were looking out of someone's fancy apartment.
Right.
We, as New Yorkers, are privy to so much beauty on a daily basis that is sandwiched, in between and around grit, and around movement, and around hustle and bustle, and around people trying to get to work. But there are constant pockets of beauty that you just cannot deny. And so you're just on a subway car. Someone else may just be looking at their phone, reading their newspaper, zoning out. But an artist sees beauty and captures it for the rest of us. So we can stop and say, I never noticed that.
And also the grit can be beautiful. That's the thing.
I love the grit. I love it.
Like talking about Boston, what I've realized in Boston is when I walked around there, it's so clean, the center.
Right.
And I was kind of bored with it, and I kind of like the dirt in New York that you when
Right.
you see the boxes piling up on the sidewalk, or sometimes walls with black garbage bags, and even the grit can be beautiful.
Okay, so Leo has posted
My
Richard
website.
Cook's
Thank you, Leo.
website. Okay, and I'm sure he's posted Fran's as well.
I think he did that
Yeah,
before. I
thank you
watched it
so
pop
much,
up.
Leo. And not just in Manhattan, the boroughs have a lot to offer in the beauty. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
yeah.
Annette, you were
The
right.
book is the 5 boroughs, although Staten Island, I didn't get much of Staten Island. I went there twice, and both was really bad weather. So
Yeah.
well,
I lived
basically,
there for 5 years.
oh, you
so-
did?
I lived there for 3.
Well, but basically, how do you view New York? It's always because you're always on the move. You always have to go from A to B. So actually, you only experience the city when you go to B. And
Right.
so it's a lot of my commute that I photograph. But at a certain point, I went out to capture really different stuff. That sometimes just jumping on the subway and then let chance help me by just stepping out of the end of the line helps too.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go back to what you said about Boston, because
Yeah.
I grew up in Boston. I would love to take you to the North End. Have you been to the North End, the Italian section?
No.
You would fall in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're right, it is very clean, and it can be just kind of sterile,
Mm-hmm.
some parts of it, compared to New York.
Right.
Some people would think, actually, a lot of my Boston friends don't like New York because it is dirty.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're not interested in that. But if you are someone that does like architecture and like vibrancy and things that are moving and alive, the North End, which is the Italian section, you will fall in love with it.
Right.
And
Authenticity is important.
What's that?
Authenticity.
Oh,
That's
authenticity.
yeah,
Yes,
that's important.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of that stuff. So that's interesting too, that people see you see the world in so many different places. And you're right. Like, I've lived in New York 30 years, and there are streets I have never gone down. And there are things that I've never seen. And then I'll be driving or walking and think, what is this place? Mm-hmm. You will never run out of things to be, to blow your mind in New York.
But also, the beauty can also be the most mundane things, as long as you are aware of it, and as long as you see it. I mean, yesterday I was on the subway platform, and you have those subway musicians, and I saw a trumpet player on the other side of the track on the platform.
Yeah.
And he was standing behind one of those big metal pillars, so you almost only saw the trumpet floating.
Oh.
And that's I was totally I actually let my train go to capture that scene.
Okay, but
Yeah.
see what you just said. You said you let your train go.
Yeah.
I have done that with musicians as well, to listen to them.
Right. Well, I was only looking at them.
Right, but I'm saying because
But he
your
was playing,
art is
yeah.
visual,
Right.
so you were fascinated by that, and
Yeah.
my art is hearing things,
Right.
and so creating sound. So when I hear, especially trumpet players, they really speak to me. When I hear a trumpet player, I always miss my train. I have to take it in. I can't just, it's too beautiful. I want to stop for a minute and acknowledge Ray, my friend Ray Irizarry. I always say it wrong, Ray. I'm sorry. He is an NYPD fantastic human being. I want to salute you, Ray, and say you are one of the cutest people in that uniform. Oh my God, he's so cute. So I did want to acknowledge Ray there. And I know a lot of our friends some people have passed by, and I wanted to say hello to you. We may have to come back and see what's happening. John Pandish, hi, sweetheart. He always comes on. And thank you for coming on every week. Hi, Ray is so cute. Ray, you would be somebody. He's NYPD. I mean, the stuff you could get with him. I should introduce you guys to each other. He's
That would be
wonderful.
interesting.
Yes, actually, Ray, will you friend each other, please? Because there's so much interesting stuff. He'll take these amazing pictures as well in the Bronx. You know, he and his
love the
NYPD
Bronx.
beautiful friends.
Did you have to go to certain places to find something that wasn't represented in the book, or did you know what you were really looking for all the time?
No, often it's like stuff that I encounter, but the publisher, the publishing house, demanded some stuff in the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They wanted the build, they wanted the iconic buildings.
Okay.
Architecture was a little bit, but I don't really photograph architecture, but that was important because that sells.
Was that a challenge to try and get those?
Yes,
in
it
an
was a challenge.
authentic way?
It's a challenge to get the World Trade Center in a different way than just the World Trade Center. So that was kind of like I shot that with pretty big resentments because I was like, I love the people often,
Right.
and I'm not so that was a challenge.
That one picture of that woman and that child with that beautiful landscape.
Skyline.
The
Yeah.
skyline. Where was that shot?
That was shot in Williamsburg.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, there's so
That's a
many.
beautiful-
Oh my God! Now I want to tell people how they can get this book because, all right, yeah, look at that! Isn't that beautiful? And it's just look at the mom and
this
her
looks
little
like
baby.
like from the 50s or
I was
something.
going to
Yes.
say, it's
Yeah.
kind of timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Timeless
that could
city.
be a black and white, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timeless city.
So Richard, now when you came on the show a while back, it's probably about a year ago, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Your,
Yeah.
your book had just come out,
Yeah.
and now it's on. People can get it. It's not just a bookstore. So tell people how they can get your book now.
Yeah, well, wherever you live, you can get it now. It's internationally distributed, but it's on Amazon, so Amazon Prime members can get it. Yeah,
In one day.
Yeah, one day, free shipping.
Look at that.
Wow.
And yeah, so that's
Okay, so
That's it.
should they just type in, if they wanted to type in your name?
New York. Well, if you type in New York on Amazon, then you get like a lot of Frank Sinatra and other stuff. So New York, then Richard Koek. That would be the best bet.
And how do
Okay.
you spell your name again?
Koek.
Okay.
Koek.
Thank God for Fran O'Neill, because she is asking all the right questions.
I have a question for Fran. Actually.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I love this. This is
Yeah.
give me a little break. This is wonderful.
No, because like your images are not very well, like you said, they're abstract. Do you title your work?
I do,
You
yes.
do? Huh.
But normally things that are maybe a little obscure, because I'm more interested in what you think of it than me giving it a title where you're like, oh, that's what she was looking at, or that's what she was thinking about. Because then if I do that, then your imagination maybe doesn't have the scope.
That's really interesting because I kind of work the same way.
Huh.
Yeah. Because when people ask me what I see in pictures, I'm actually way more interested what other people see in it, and kind of like what I think is not very relevant if it comes to like other people looking at my work. I
Yeah.
really want to like hear what other.
But that's a
I
rare
love it.
quality, I believe. What you have that in common, but not everyone feels that way.
I love it when people like either love or hate my work.
Really?
Or, yeah.
Have a strong
absolutely.
reaction.
Absolutely, because it's sort of
Well, who
boring.
would
to
hate
have-
it? I don't. But people actually said they don't like something.
You know, I had one time years ago, and the work was very different at that point, where I had this show, and these young kids, like I was standing behind them, and they're like, I really don't like this work.
They didn't know it was you.
No, they didn't know it was me, and so I tapped them on the shoulder, and I was like, it's my work, and they were like horrified.
You know what's funny that you said that? That happened to me, but in a different way, in a positive way. It's actually this photograph. I was in Provincetown. I was in a gallery.
It's a beautiful,
I love it, and it's a photograph of an old like barn
but at night. With
at
the dusk
night.
and the stars,
Yes.
stars.
Do you know how she captured that by? I'll tell you after the show. But anyway, but what was great about it was I was looking at this piece and I said, "Oh my God, that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen." And the artist was behind me. She said, "Thanks, that's mine."
Well, you know, the
It was
thing was, it
beautiful.
wasn't a
So-
bad experience with these guys because we ended up having this great
Did
conversation.
you?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
good for you for being
Because
open to that.
Then it was just like, so what don't you like about it? And we bantered back and forth, and then it was actually because they didn't quite understand how to even get into abstraction and how to think about
How
it.
old were they?
They
Young?
were probably like 19, 20.
Okay.
You know, so it's all a learning experience, and I really think that, you know, the way things are taught these days, that to learn how to visually look at an image is very important.
Or make up your own mind about what
Yeah.
you feel about it. Let me take a moment because we've had some new people come on. Cindy Krieger. Hi, Cindy Krieger. How are you? I miss you, honey. And my cousin Gina Savino. I don't know if you know this part of our show, but it's very important. Richard is laughing. So when Gina Savino comes on, we have to clap. Gina Savino, everybody. Okay, beautiful. All right. It just has to happen. It has to happen. Okay. And then Michael Barberi has joined us. Sorry, I'm late. That's okay.
Yeah.
Gina, you know how it goes. She works, she's a hairdresser, and she is at Joyce's Unisex Salon, 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Please, if you're there, go see Gina and Joyce. They are my cousins. They are sisters, and I am crazy about them. Okay, so now this is a very oh, Leo is clapping. This is very interesting because you teach as well?
I do, yes.
Do you teach?
I wish.
Okay,
I would
well,
love
you'd
to
be a
teach.
great teacher.
I would love to share my experience.
Richard, we're putting this out into the universe. Richard Koek would love to teach and share his experience.
And you know what? I
You would
go
be
to
an
career
amazing
days on
te-
schools when, to
Do
like
you?
talk about, you know, yeah, it's really, I really love it, like how children connect with my stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God! And
It's
you,
a gift,
Yeah.
too.
it's a gift to teach, and I love it. I've been teaching since 1992. I didn't choose it. I was thrown into it. A friend of mine was on maternity leave, and she was desperate. She was leaving in 2 days, and no one could take over her acting. And she begged me. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and she just threw me into it. But it's life changing. But what you were both saying, what you were saying, and what you were saying about the way people look at things, especially now with the new generation, where people are so fixated on not moving out of this box. And to get children to see things, like I work with music, it's a little different. It does evoke a lot of emotion. And a lot of my students are girls, so they're quicker to talk about their feelings. But I was fascinated by those were boys that you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that especially young men could really benefit from talking about their feelings about art or their opinions about it. Have you ever had a young person talk about your photographs or something they see or?
Well, I always ask.
Oh, do you? Okay, what do you say?
I
What's
had
your question?
I had a show in 2016 in Soho, and then a class came in, and then basically I asked, "What do you see?" And then I asked them if they can describe what they are seeing, and that's already a big difference.
And what
with
did
each child, you know?
And so each one of them they saw something different.
Yeah, and then I asked, so what do you think is happening? Why is that person? So I asked more questions to make them tell a story. That's because it's about storytelling when you go through the book too. It's about stories.
Absolutely, every picture has a story, and your intended story, and what my mind thinks is happening.
Exactly. Yeah,
And I love
like,
that.
and it's like crazy to hear what people see or the information you get. I love it. Like my the biggest compliment I can get for my work is if my picture evokes that somebody creates his whole universe around that picture that he has made up. That's one of the biggest compliments I can
You know
get.
what would be an amazing experience that I would do as a teacher? And I'll have to figure out how we have to do this. Take your photographs and have a day with students where you would come, I'll have to bring you out. You would come and they would write a story. They each individually, they can't show it to each other.
Right.
And then
That's
present
cool.
that
That's
story.
cool.
I
That's
think
great.
that would be a
Yeah.
really cool thing. Now, Fran, I want to get back to you because this is along the lines, and I know so many of our friends are coming up. I'm trying to acknowledge everyone. Oh boy, Elena Savino. Hi, Elena. Michael Klein, Chocolate Q Dessert, Paul Lucas. So many amazing people are just flying by. Cheryl Giuliano, Stephen Lowenthal. Hi, everyone. This is Fran O'Neill. She is an abstract painter extraordinaire. Richard Koek, he is an amazing artist. I mean, a photographer, an artist, of course, yes. And his art is photography, and he captures New York right now. This is his book, New York, New York, from the inside. of a New Yorker's point of view, but. And then I want to come back about your other photography. Now, we were talking about your paintings earlier, Fran, and you will post paintings on Facebook, and all of us will jump in, and we'll have names for it, or I see this, or I see that, and I see that. And what happens to me in your paintings, I automatically lose myself. That's what I love about it, because my brain doesn't shut off often. So when I look at one of your paintings, that's why I have them in my bedroom. They automatically calm me down. And it throws me into a place of just losing myself. So
in a good way.
In a great way. In a great way. Yeah, because there are artists that will evoke, and they want to evoke like a crisis or a
tension of some sort.
Provoking something, right. And tensions, like I went to the Alexander McQueen exhibit, and the way that it was curated, it made me feel like I was losing my mind. And I realized when I left there, that's exactly what was happening. And I thought, oh my God, the curator was brilliant, as was the artist. But I was dazed. It stayed with me. I felt this heaviness. It was very if you're open to art, and please try to be open to it. So, Fran, do you set an intention for your painting, or does it? Talk about the process of that.
It really varies quite a bit. Like sometimes it is going to work every day as much as I can.
Okay.
So, I'm not just going there when I'm feeling inspired. I have to go all the time.
I love that. That's important.
Because basically you don't know how things are going to evolve. And sometimes it's even just starting off, with like one color and just being like, let's put it down. I talk to myself about it. Which one will I work with it? Da, da, da. And then suddenly at a certain point, everything changes and the painting starts to speak. And the way the movement happens, and then you slow down. You have to look at what does the painting. I try not to be too willful. I have to really wait and see what I really think or feel that it needs more.
It's almost like there's a ghost in there.
Sometimes. Well, I had a very good friend of mine who's an artist said something along the lines of sometimes he really feels like something. He's able then to actually, he switches off and he's just the vehicle for it. And I definitely feel like that sometimes when
like a channeling almost
happens, and suddenly you're kind of like, oh, that's just happened, and what a surprise. And then other times I'm like, gotta get rid of that, and it can do with movement, it can do with color composition. I can sit back and analyze it in so many different ways, but ultimately it's about how does it feel to me. And I always say it's it's that particular day. Like the next day I would not make the same. I've had a different walk to work. I've actually seen different things. I've smelt different things. I've eaten different things. Everything mixes into it.
So your experience, the same thing.
Directly relates to it. So it's about trying to be as present as I can in the making of it.
So your energy is in those paintings, for sure. Your experience, whatever you've experienced getting to that painting, somehow ends up on that canvas.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's why original art is so important to support artists, because not just support them because they need your support, but because you're looking at and you're touching and you're experiencing and owning or whatever you want to do with it, or visiting you may visit a place or a museum or a gallery. You are having this experience that you would not be having without it. It's very important, and it may move what you like. I know I'm not a visual artist. I am a musician and a writer, but when I see your work, it makes me want to write. It moves me to, your work will move me to listen to different types of music. Your work will move me to want to write lyrics or a story.
Well, so you connect.
Absolutely.
It's all about connecting, whether it's painting or photography.
And another thing that I will tell you, and this is the truth, anybody that knows me, I do not have anybody on the show that I don't absolutely love their work. It's not, you know what I mean? I have to believe in what I'm doing also, even in the show. This is just my show. But so you're both people that your work has moved me. Now, it's like we could just go back and forth about this. I want to take a quick break because we have reached the part of our show. So what I try to do is, the mission of my show is to showcase my friends let people know about the incredible friendships that I have with these artists, beautiful people, and how do we, the creative life. This is the creative life. How do we thrive, survive, live in the city and abroad with our art? How do we live with it every day? So I have to give myself a challenge every week, not just to sit here and present them. Hi, Maria Filiomeni, my friend from Morristown, but to also say, what's my creative challenge for this week? And I give myself a cooking challenge. So, Fran, I said, I always ask people if they have restrictions or preferences. And Fran said, tell me what you said, Fran.
I said, let's not have sugar. Let's try and avoid.
Okay.
And let's actually not have too many carbohydrates. No pasta.
Yeah. So I said, that's easy. And Richard was like,
No cushions. That's what I said.
what did you say?
No cow shins.
No cow shins.
I ate it.
I don't
once.
even
was
know
like,
what that is.
The heck? Like it was like this thin meat. I was in a Chinese restaurant.
Oh,
Somebody
no.
wanted to give me something really different. I was like, this is
No.
cow shins.
I said, we will not be having
Cow
cow
shins.
Shins, yeah. However, I did say, I asked Fran if she wanted shrimp or beef, and she said beef. And you were fine with the beef.
Yeah.
So here's what I went with. Now, speaking of Chinese, and it is Chinese New Year this week. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's the year of the pig.
It's my year.
Is
It's my
it?
year. Mm-hmm.
I think I'm the tiger. I can't remember.
I'm the monkey.
You're the monkey? Okay,
Yep.
good. We got a tiger, a monkey, and a pig here. Okay.
Pretty good combo.
So, yeah, we're covering a lot of territory. So I made sirloin, a strip, and here's our beautiful plate. It says scrumptious there on the bottom. Yep, and it smells
Torture.
divine. This is just our display plate. I have a ton of it in the kitchen. So what did I do with this beef? I marinated it overnight in garlic, sesame, ginger, soy sauce. What else? Mushroom pesto and unami seasoning, which is like a mushroom, but kind of tends to be on the Asian dishes more. So I did that kind of like an Asian beef, and then I did a stir fry. So the stir fry, I used Thai spices, so coriander. What did I use? Cinnamon, coriander, cinnamon, and cardamom. So those are traditionally Thai spices. So we have covered, that is our New Year. Yep.
And we get to eat it.
Yes, you do. This is for our plate. And then, because I'm Italian, I have to, throw a little Italian something in there. And, I love my salads. So here is our beautiful salad. This is butter lettuce, also called Boston lettuce. Because I'm from Boston, so I threw in a little Boston this week. And English cucumber and little baby red peppers. They're super sweet. So the little ones, you buy them now, they're like really sweet. And then
Just cheese on it?
yes, arugula as well, which is very bitter. So I find like kale and arugula, you have to mix them with something else. Otherwise, it's just impossible. So arugula and with the butter lettuce, that makes for a nice peppery bite. And then this is shaved Asiago, Parmesan, and Romano cheese. You're going to love that. We're going to do a fig vinegar on that and extra virgin olive oil. And I already have basil, little basil in there as well. So that is our delicious salad for tonight, representing my Italians and my Boston peeps.
Can we stop the show now?
Yeah, well, pretty soon. And then this is because I said Fran's not having much sugar, right? So I thought this would be for Richard.
Right.
Fran came in tonight and had a bunch of these already.
And like ate half the bowl.
But that's all right. So what are these? I'm going to grab one.
Little cookies.
These
yeah.
are little heart-shaped cookies. Yeah. They're shortbread dipped in chocolate. Little hearts, hats, as they say in Massachusetts. I will hold that and I will eat that because I touched it. And so that's what we're having, little heart-shaped cookies. And with that, so that is our meal for tonight. Let me look at who has joined us since I was talking about our food. Andrew Holmes. Hi, Andrew. Debbie Greenberg. Yes, shaved cheese. You know how that goes. It's delicious. Annette is a chef, so she knows. She has a food show. It's great. It's called Kitchen Annette. So it's Kitchenette. Her name, Kitchen Annette. Yeah, it's really cool. Good. And she cooks things. She created, when she was on our show, Michael Rubenstein has joined us too. When she was on our show, she created something for our show called a Maria Gen chili. It was an Italian chili. It was amazing.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was really cute. So anyway, you see, I surround myself with creative people. It's hard to read what you're saying because we're trying to get. Oh, right. Thank you, Rena. Thank you for reminding me. So this portion of her show was called "Go Ahead, Keep Eating." So that we just went. I should have done that first. So that was the "Go Ahead, Keep Eating" part of the show. And yes, I have Leo and I are working on, and Judy's going to help us too, designing aprons, tote bags. We're getting merchandise soon. So that is coming. It's really fun. Yeah, aprons with the "Go Ahead, Keep Eating." Now I want to go back to the fact, because time is flying by as it always does. I want to talk about the fact that you're both citizens now.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's noticed, they have beautiful accents. So you're from other countries. So Fran, fill us in. Where you're from, and I mean I know where you're from, but fill us in, and that you've just become a citizen.
I have, and ironically, I became a citizen on Australia Day.
What?
Yes, so I loved the fact that really I'm half and half.
You are?
Yeah, so that was just last Friday, the
It's wonderful.
25th here, which when you do the time zone thing is actually the 26th of Australia, which is a lot of controversy over whether it should be Australia Day or not with how they invaded the country. There were already native Aboriginals there, so won't talk too much about that. But it was actually very, very moving. I was really surprised. I've been here in the States since 1998. And I didn't think it was going to make a difference, but it was a very moving ceremony. The judge was fantastic. Lois Bloom was her name. And she really spoke about, don't forget where you come from. Like, if you get the opportunity, share with people, like, why you love your country and, and what it is about it. And if you've got traditions, make them, share them, cook them. Right. And she said something that I thought was so brilliant. She said, because when we meet one person from one country and good experience with, we love the whole country.
Wow.
And I totally agree with that. Right?
Now, you said that you didn't feel like it would make a difference.
Yeah.
How did it make a difference?
I think it just made me realize how much freedom I have and how much opportunities there are here to really grab hold of and believe in, and just know that that's actually a possibility. So for me, I was really surprised because, after living here for 20 years, you'd sort of think, what's the difference?
Right.
But it really was something that it was like I actually felt really.
Yeah, my mother, she said that was one of the proudest days of her life when she became an American citizen. She just, everything changed. So I grew up around that pride.
Yeah.
My whole family's from Italy, so it's just I grew up around that. And thank you for sharing that experience with us, and thank you for being here, and thank you for bringing your beautiful Australian art, your mind and your experience, and sharing your art with us as Americans and New Yorkers.
And I want to say one other thing. She actually welcomed us all. She was just like, it's so good to have such diversity in this country. And it felt so amazing to be amongst, I think there was at least 35 to 40 different nations represented that day. And it was extraordinary.
That's
it really
wonderful.
Felt rich culture.
That's beautiful. And that was in New York, right? In
Yeah,
the city?
Actually in Brooklyn.
Okay,
downtown
cool.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
And Richard, what was your experience like?
Yeah,
on that?
same thing. It was very emotional. It was because it's never easy to become a citizen, and for me it was a long ride and a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
A lot went wrong.
Same, actually.
So the moment you become a citizen, you really feel. Well, for me it was. I really wanted to be part of the political process. I really wanted to be able to vote, and really soon after I became a citizen. Unfortunately, I didn't get such a great judge with such great things to say. But I immediately was being drafted for jury duty.
Really?
And and I was like selected. So that was I think I was the only jury member who had a blast, because I was for 2 weeks on the grand jury, and I felt like I'm in a TV show, I'm in a movie, because you only see that on TV in Europe.
Right.
Because I'm from Holland. So doing jury duty, and
I actually love it. I'm one of the only people.
It was I had a blast.
It's
so
amazing,
wonderful.
right?
Yeah.
Wow, right
I
away.
love what Fran says about the judge telling to embrace where you come from as a new citizen, and that is something that because coming from Europe, for me that opened my eyes how New York City is not a melting pot. It's segregated on so many ways, whether it's economic or by race or where you come from. But what I love about this city, that's why I truly love this city, is that somehow everything works. You pay your money to the cab driver who comes from here, you pay your money to the deli owner, you there's so many nationalities, and we're all connected. That we have to make this work.
We
We're
have
all
to make it work, right?
And whether it's the green dollar or the American flag that binds us, it's at least that we live in this wonderful city.
Right.
And that is something that I see as an inspiration that I wish Europe, that is pretty going to this, in the changes that are now happening in Europe. I wish that they could see how embracing where you come from can be an asset instead of like something to be fearful about. And that is what's happening in Europe right now. So I always try to bring that message for me with my book as well, to say like, this is a city that basically sees it as an asset, sees it as like something that can make an economy richer, that can make a society richer, and instead of like trying to all be the same, you all have to adopt, you all have to speak that language. No, it makes it actually just wonderful to
think, you know what I think the fear comes from? Because I've spoken to people, because I am interested in what people have to say. I really am. I want to know where people are coming from, not just shut them off. And what I think it is that people are afraid to be diluted. They're afraid to lose this strength, whatever it is. They're afraid that someone's going to come and dilute them, and they will. I feel like they will disappear.
Right.
That's our fear on Earth, that we're going to disappear or be not important or irrelevant. And I think if we realize that we are important, and also like you said, I love what you said, Fran, about embrace who be proud of who you are. Like I may have been born here, but my whole family is from somewhere else, and I love being Italian. I love it so much, and like. My heart beats when I see something Italian, or I hear music, and I want to share that experience. And and I love other people's. I'm always curious. So I think it's important to, if I can, as a message to send out there, to stay open, be proud of who you are, don't be ashamed of who you are, and also be open to other people's experiences. We should do that with our kids,
Yeah.
Right.
She also said two other things that I loved too. She was just like, vote, number one, and vote on all levels, like schools, wherever. There's so many opportunities to vote and to be involved in your world.
Be involved.
And she also said education. Really go for that, and make sure you know who's educating you, why, and how good are they.
Wow.
So it's not just
That's
enough
a really
to drop
good
your
point.
kids off somewhere. And I've got to say, as an artist, it's also goes hand in hand, because I love being able to teach and drawing things out of whoever it is that's not mine. There's something special. It is incredible to actually have that opportunity. That to me is like, it's a gift to actually watch someone develop and change and really embrace who they're meant to be.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. And go ahead, Richard. What were you saying?
You can be a proud American, and I can be a proud Dutchman.
Yes.
So that's why can't you
Equally.
just combine that equally? Yeah.
And she was just like, if you know a language, teach your kids that
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
I can't tell you how many people that I meet whose parents are from another country that don't speak that language. And I'm shocked. And they're like, well, my dad he was afraid that people would make fun of us, so we didn't learn whatever they're from,
Yeah, my mom is Argentinian, and she never taught me Spanish.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. But she had her good reasons, but that's how it.
I learned Australian.
You, thank goodness, Fran.
Lucky.
Okay, so let me see how much time we have. We have about maybe 5 or 6 minutes left. Okay, so once again, Richard, where can we find your book?
Amazon.com.
Okay.
And I'm also on Instagram, actually. So my name
What's
is
your
also,
Instagram name?
Richard Koek. That's my full name.
Okay,
so
on
it's
Instagram?
New York. Like, I like the...
I love that. That's cool.
Yeah.
No, this book
It's
is beautiful.
Yeah, the bling. New
And
York,
it's a
New
big
York,
book.
Richard Koek on Amazon. But, if you follow me on Instagram, you can see my daily stuff. Or not daily, but, I keep on shooting. So that's the thing. There's also already so much new work out.
Now, I'm going to put this out there. This is an incredible gift. And when you you're going to see that the price is incredibly reasonable. You go to Amazon. This is what's nice about it. Let's say you're in Boston, you have a friend in California. You can send that to them. It'll be taken care of.
It's media mail, by the way, which is really cheap.
Really cheap, right. So it's an incredible gift that you can send to anyone, anywhere, and say, I was watching What's the Story with Maria, and I saw this photographer. I want to send you this book. or you may be a friend of Richard's out there, or a friend of Fran's, and you want to send that. Do it. There's nothing as amazing as getting something in the mail that you get to go into this whole new world. So there's just click
and
on
you
it.
get to actually see the world through Richard's eyes,
Right.
which I think is
Thanks.
amazing.
Amazing. Now, Fran, how can we find you if we want to look at?
You can find me through my website, which is franoneal.com, FRANONELL.com. Also, just another plug for my show coming up, opening on February 28th at Sears Payton Gallery here in New York City. And there we go, Maria, fantastic, 210 11th Avenue, 802, between 24th and 25th. And I would love to see as many people as I can on that opening night, but also open
Free
till
wine and beer.
April 13th. And it's going to be hopefully a very connecting show for whoever does go
What's
along.
April 13th?
That's the closing date.
Oh, okay.
It's got a nice 6-week run. which
That's a
is
long
kind of-
time. Now,
it's a
Fran, will you be
beautiful
there
run.
a lot of the time?
Oh, yeah. I'll
Yeah?
probably be there at least once a week.
Really?
And if I know someone wants to actually meet me there, I go out of my way.
Oh, boy.
And, the fun thing is you don't have to buy one of my works. It's more about the conversation and things like that. Always great if you do buy one.
Yeah, I was going to say, now, let me tell you something. If you're someone that you go and you see one of Fran's paintings, you should buy it. And I'll tell you why, because first of all, to own a piece of original art is an amazing thing. Everywhere I go, if I'm on vacation, even if it's a small thing, I'll buy something, and art can only grow in beauty and value of time. Like you buy something and then years later you're like, I bought this and this is what was happening then. And you can never go wrong with original art. So that is always a great thing. So go and visit the gallery. If Fran is there, please don't be afraid to. Fran is, she looks intense and don't be afraid of Fran. Fran is very approachable and sweet. And I know I would be like, oh, that's the artist. I don't want to talk to the artist. I feel stupid. Don't feel stupid. Fran will talk to you. Richard will talk to you. If you see, people.
Well, I wanted to say, if you live in New York and you buy the book, buy me a coffee and I'll sign it for you. That's
what?
That's like I like to connect with people who are interested in my work and just hear their stories.
That's an amazing. That's really cool. That's really cool. So these are definitely things. But Richard, I'm telling you, we have to talk about. You have to teach. You
That
have
would be
to
fun.
teach. Yes.
And I also put a plug in. I would teach in love.
Really?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
already teaching now. Where are you teaching?
I teach at 2 places, the Art Students League, and I also just
Sounds
helped
like
teach at the New York Studio School down on 8th.
On 8th
Both
Street. And
great
where's the Art
places.
Students League?
On 57th,
That's
between 7th
one of the
and
famous art schools in New York City. Big history. Yeah.
8th. Very big
Wow.
history, yeah.
And how did you get involved in that? That's amazing.
Both the school, New York Studio School, I was there as a student many years ago now. That's how I first came to the city. And, I volunteered myself for a job at the Art Studio.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of being a student there.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I would love to draw sometimes to
Why not?
stuff from New York. Yeah.
Why not? I see people that start off doing one thing and then are always going, they always will do what they do, their original medium, right? But it's just amazing to see people doing different things,
Right.
Okay, so we want to remind you, the show's almost over. Jimmy's probably going to pop on soon and tell us that we have a little bit of time left. But I want to remind you that we are here every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, on at What's the Story with Maria. You can come to my Facebook page and see it. Then I post it on What's the Story page. Also, please share it. We would love it if you shared the show. Just go for it. And armeddigitalmedia.com, Armed Radio Global, are 2 ways that you can listen to it if you're not on Facebook, or let's say you're at the office, you want to hear the shows. They have a bunch of great shows, and we're one of them. And this was originally started, it's called Armed Radio because it was started for the armed forces. And I'm really proud of the fact that I'm part of this family that entertains 60 across the country and 66 other countries. Our shows go to entertain the troops around the world. It started that way, and now it's just mushroomed into this wonderful thing that everyone listens to. So we do want to say thank you to our troops. We appreciate and love you very much, and everything that you're doing. And let's leave them with something. As if there are people out there watching that you want to leave them with as an artist, what would you say?
Take an artist walk every.
You got a minute, Maria.
Okay, honey, thank
Have a
you.
minute.
Okay, so,
What about you, Richard?
I would say, try to find. I'm really blessed that I know what my passion is. Try to find your passion, and even if you don't make your money with it, just do it, because it's such a blessing to be really connected with something that is really, a gift, and that is also authentic you. That's
authentic you. I
yeah.
love that. So we're going to leave that.
Thank you,
leave you
Maria.
with that. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy you're here. We're going to eat now. We love and appreciate
Yes.
you. Come back next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.